Hello, we are now on our second video and we'll be discussing one, uh, issues on environmental sustainability. Why? The question would be, why is it important, no? Looking at environmental sustainability? Because we know that it can improve our life quality, no? What else? It can also protect our ecosystem, and it preserves the natural resources. No? Pasensya na po kayo sa sulat ko. Yan. And why we have to look into this? Because for future generation. And we'll be looking at economic sustainability. Does it goes hand in hand with environmental sustainability? And when we look at economic sustainability, we were looking at the human and material resources to create optimal use of this whatever resources that we have for recovery or for recycling, no? When we look at economic sustainability. Now, what are the models that we need to use in order for us to guide, no, our decision? But first, we look at the definition of what uh, is our sustainable development. Actually, it's one that is popular, no, that they are using in terms of definition is from the Brundtland Commission in 1987, which is meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generation. Another definition was possibility that the human and other forms of life on Earth would flourish forever, and the simplest one in the Johannesburg Rio Convention, enough for all forever, for sustainable development. No, though there are cases when they were saying that sustainability is, there are some perspective that it would be different from sustainable development. Why is that so? So we can look at the models, no? If you look at the dimension of sustainability, we made mention previously the life quality, equity, biodiversity, and human survival. No? Ito yung dimension niya. And looking at the 2030 uh, agenda for sustainable development, we have three dimensions that they are actually focusing on. Anchored ito din pa din doon sa, di ba kanina we made mention of the Brundtland Commission, it na we have also economy, no, and we have the environment and the society that would actually be our guide in achieving sustainable development. And there are now advocacies that we have to include cultural when we look at dimensions, no, of sustainable development issues. No? So, if we look at sustainability versus sustainable development, it has four dimensions as well, like your sustainability. But if you notice, it is somehow it includes environmental. Kasi yung kanina pinakita natin, wala naman doon yung environmental. But it does have more on the social issues. So that's why, since it's all about Earth, and sino yung kabati ni Earth sa atin, no? Siyempre, the people, di ba? In economy and Earth. No, yun yung focus natin dito, economy and Earth. So then that's why, no, the UN developed the sustainable development goal. It is hanggang 2030 to na for us to be able to reach. Why? there's a reason kasi sabi nila by 2030 yung sa global warming, if we were not able to mitigate no the climate changes, it alam mo yung turning point, it will be more difficult for us to have no yung a very livable earth no after some time, although may sinabi naman sila when would that happen no, which we'll be discussing at global warming and climate change. Now, but what I would like to for us to look at would be, tingnan nyo, merong clean water. This is related to issues that were addressed by the different organization that we discussed previously. Then we have clean energy, diba? Ano pa yung nakita natin? Then we have climate action, life in water, life on land. We have 17 goals to transform our world. And looking at the focus, we have around five actually, five, no, that look into environmental concern, no. Kaya, in order for us to measure the impact, we were before when we were young, wala naman the so-called environmental accounting. But now, in order to account for the impact of the environment in terms of financial aspect, we do have now environmental accounting. This is a tool that we use in order for us to measure the role no, of the economy or the role played by the natural environment in the economy. Para we can be guided in making business decision. We would be able to measure the cost. We'd be able to determine the impact, no? And what are the different areas for us to be able to measure this impact? We have the global environmental accounting, which the methodologies being we focus on would be the ecology and in terms of energetics at the worldwide level. Then at the national environmental level, we look at how we can measure this different costs, and it in terms of the impact to society, and it will be at the end of the corporate no organization, business entity. Then they would now be of course reporting on the different activities that somehow contributes to the improvement of or they were able to improve the economy. Kaya ngayon sa atin ngayon sa Philippines, we are required to submit sustainability report. Nito lang naman nag-umpisa sa Pilipinas yan, mga around but at worldwide, even before 2015. But in the Philippines, it started only around 2018. It's mandatory for all listed firms to provide sustainability reporting. Kasi pag listed firm, kailangan yun, no? Pag sa Philippines. Kaya ngayon, dati walang mga biological asset. Now we are reporting biological asset as a firm. Okay? Now, at the concern of measuring no, at the impact to development, that's why we are using the model of sustainable net national product. For us to show no, the value of or the monetary value no, of finished goods and services produced by a country's citizen. And what are the components? We have the gross national income, the depreciation of manufactured capital asset, and the depreciation of environmental capital. Then, in addition to that, we now have the model that we can use in order for us to account for yung impact of environment to development using the sustainable net national product model. And one that study that was actually give performed was ito hindi based naman natin the Philippines, but just for us to have an idea. If you notice, ano yung given, ano daw yung will be given priority, environment or economy. And anong sabi dito? Protecting the environment should be given priority. That's the question. And looking at the result, well, they are somehow geared towards, siyempre, to still protect the priority, yung protecting the environment. Why? Kasi we were thinking that pag pinrotectionan mo yung earth, in the long run, tayo din naman well protected. Now, how about economic growth and environment? Now, is economic growth related to economic sustainability? Of course, it is. But one issue that's being looked at would be, does economic growth supports the environment sustainability, no? Ang sabi kasi dito, in a short term, the benefits of economic growth ay somehow it can support the individuals, no, in terms of having jobs and resources. In what manner? Kasi daw yung the economy would be able to feed on the natural resources. However, the negative effect would be there are wastes, no, and pollutes in the air because of that. And how can we be able to address? Kasi may mga naniniwala na ang growth daw, siya ang nagkokos ng environmental damage. Meron din namang naniniwala na ang growth, hindi naman talaga nagkokos ng environmental damage. Kasi yung tinitingnan natin dito nagkokos ba ng damage sa environment, yung economic growth. Based on one forum, no, na or dialogue, no, addressing growth and environment, ang titingnan daw dapat yung history, kasi sa history daw talaga may mga nangyari na damage yung environment. Ano yung mga sample niyan? Para daw magkaroon ng economic growth, magtatayo ka ng mga yung ito, tingnan niyo sa picture, ayan. 'Di ba? Yung you have to have growth in terms of the industry na nagko-contribute doon sa air pollution, sa mga water pollution. Yun yung sinasabi nila. Kaya if we look at the loop, no, that we have here, ano yung napansin natin? Tingnan natin yung sa loop. Ano napansin nyo dito sa loop? We have here, no, loop on economic growth. We look at the purchases, the gross domestic product. We look at the resource depletion. We look at the impact. This particular loop give us the idea that it's not easy for us to really have sustainability, 'di ba? Pagka ang gusto mo talaga maging super progressive yung isang economy. Kasi yung dito sa loop natin, makikita natin na the economic growth sometimes contributed to economic hindi economic, environmental degradation, ganun. And why do we have this graph? Kasi sinasabi natin that if economic growth increases real GDP, therefore, with the increase in output and consumption, we would likely see costs imposed on the environment. Diba? And the environmental impact of economic growth would actually include increased consumption of non-renewable resources. No? Kung looking at the graph, there is a trade-off between economic growth and environmental resources. The the PPF curve shows that there is the trade-off is with the increase in consumption, the opportunity cost implies that there will be a lower stock of renewable resources. Ano yung mga sample dito? 'Di ba? Bakit ngayon ang taas ba't tumataas habang tumatagal yung cost of gas? Well, aside from dahil doon ngayon sa nangyayari sa Ukraine at saka sa Russia, kasi talaga namang nadideplete yung sources ng oil, ng gas, at saka ng coal. 'Di ba? Tapos, we have issues on the loss of fishing stocks because of overfishing. We have also issues on species diversity. Kadami ng 'di ba, na extinct na mga species. So ito yung that's why we have shown this particular graph because there is really an external cause of economic growth such as yung kanina binanggit natin, pollution. I hope we later will show the level of gas emission per capita of the different in different years, no? And how it damages the nature and so also we have the soil erosion and different toxins kaya nga nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic, no? Kasi they were saying that this is brought by the yun sa global warming. Yan. So our next topic would be poverty and environment. So that would be our third video. Thank you.